With a budget of over 95 billion euros, Horizon Europe, the new European Research and Innovation Programme, will boost Europe's scientific global leadership, excellent science and breakthrough innovation to bring solutions directly to you.
Good morning, everyone. I welcome you, those participants who have joined the second day of European Horizon launch days in Lithuania, which is organized by the Lithuanian Research Council and in particular Lino office in partnership with the Agency for Science, Innovation and Technology. This is the second day of this event, and we have more than 600 people who have registered to this event, and also some of them we know are watching on YouTube as well. But before I will go through a recap of what we have heard yesterday, I would like to invite the chair of Lithuanian Research Council, Professor Romas Baronas, to give his welcome speech. Please, floor is yours, Professor.
Good morning, everyone. Dear researchers and innovators, dear speakers, colleagues, it is my pleasure to welcome you on the second day of Horizon Europe launch event in Lithuania. Yesterday, on the first day of the event, we had high guests who delivered important messages about the importance of Horizon Europe at the political level. They also encouraged Lithuanian researchers and innovators to use their full potential and to actively participate in this ambitious European program. In particular, Mrs. Maria Gabriel, European Commissioner, encouraged Lithuanian community to continue engaging in the program and benefiting from all its measures, including Maria Sklodowska-Curie actions, European Innovation Council, and others. We will hear about this from our invited speakers. We're proud today about our liaison office for research and innovation in Brussels, Lino, which was established by the Research Council of Lithuania almost 4 years ago. Lino office, together with the colleagues from the Ministry of Education, Science and Sports, were the main organizers of yesterday's excellent event. Thanks a lot for their dedication. The second day of Horizon Europe national event will focus more on the content of Horizon Europe and will highlight the main targets, novelties, and the structure of this ambitious program. Here, one of the main roles in these events of the national contact points, NCPs. They are ones who are here to serve our applicants and guide them through the procedures, inform them about different opportunities, and help understand how the program works on an administrational level. The Council and MITA are the two institutions which share NCP network in Lithuania. The Council strengthened the activities and resources of its NCPs who are ready to provide a wide range of professional support for our applicants. Using European structural funds, we increased our staff dedicated to NCP activities. We do hope that those investments will lead to more active participation of Lithuanian actors and a higher quality of our proposals. I wish you an interesting and useful event today, and more important, a very successful participation in the Rise of Europe. Thank you very much for your attention.
Thank you, Professor Baronas, for your warm welcome speech and encouragement of the good luck. And Research Council is one of probably the two very important institutions who are, to say the least, crucial in the implementation of Horizon Europe in Lithuania, together all the stakeholders who will participate. And I would like to invite the representative of the second institution, who is Mr. Gintas Kimtys, who is now Deputy Director of Agency for Science, Innovation and Technology.
Dear guests and colleagues, I am happy to be with you this morning, and on behalf of the Agency for Science, Innovation and Technology, MITA, I wish to welcome all of you to this online launch event, Horizon Europe Opportunities for Lithuania. The objective of this event is to present insights into the new and ambitious EU Research and Innovation Framework Program 2021-2027. Access to funding is one of the most crucial factors determining possibilities to conduct world-class research, new technologies, products, and process innovation. And one of the most satisfying moments for a researcher or a team of researchers and startups is that moment when an idea becomes reality. MITA and Lithuanian Research Council are NCP's host organizations in Lithuania. As national contact points, we provide Lithuanian researchers with a wide range of services. On a daily basis, MITA NCP supports innovative SMEs, startups, large companies, universities, and researcher institutions in obtaining funds for development of innovative projects, as well as performs pre-reading, mentoring, partner search, and training how to write successful winning proposal, check for ideas, and others. MITA will be hosts of Cluster 3, it's security, Cluster 4, ICT and space and industry, Cluster 5, climate, energy, mobility, European Innovation Council, EIC, European Institute of Innovation and Technology, EIT. MITA has close cooperation with European program delegates, as well as with the national and international Eureka, Eurostars funding programs. We are strongly supporting the goal: the more newcomers that join EU R&D programs, the better. Therefore, effort to support wider participation need to be significantly strengthened in all parts of Horizon Europe. I believe that Lithuania can do much better in the Horizon Europe program, and that we can do much together. Today's event, you have unique chance to hear the relevant presentations by the representatives of European participation in this event will inspire generation of new Horizon Europe projects between Lithuanian and international partners. Those who are interested in proposal writing, I would like to invite to contact us, MITA NCPs, should you have any questions after this event. At the end of my speech, I would like to wish for this event to gain innovative spirit and energy, and of course, ask questions bravely. So thank you very much for your attention, and I wish you good luck in today's event.
Thank you, Mr. Kimtys, and thank you for your belief that we, as a nation, as our institutions, can do better this time in Horizon Europe program. Yesterday in the event, we had some very high-level speeches who were given by His Excellency President of the Republic, Gitanas Nausėda. We were joined by Commissioner Maria Gabriel. We also had the opportunity to discuss things with Professor Artūras Žukauskas, who is the chair of Committee on Education and Science in Lithuanian Parliament, as well as the Director General Jean-Eric Paquet, and also Minister Jurgita Šiugždinienė for Science, Education and Sports. So this is really hard to wrap up such a lot of information which we received yesterday into very short sentence, but I will if I would need to pick one thing from yesterday, which I would go with, I would go with the description that yesterday was about the ambition. That yesterday was about what we want to achieve in the program, and a very strong message which I heard from all the speakers, that we need to find a way to align our national priorities with the priorities of European Horizon and other existing programs and supports we have. This is crucial if we want actually to achieve a breakthrough. So I'm really happy that all the speakers, especially those who are responsible for political decisions, are sharing that understanding, and hopefully we will see that actually happening in the practice. And if I would need to describe very shortly what is today about, I would go with that today is about practicalities. Today we will try to decode all those programs and focus on practical aspects which should be very informative and interesting for all the attendees and the participants of this event. So we will have a presentation on widening and era. We will have a presentation on each Horizon Europe pillar separately, given by our distinguished speakers. And in the end of the day, we will have short presentation about the national support which is available for those who are willing to apply and make their proposals to the Horizon Europe program, which will be followed with the meeting with NCPs shortly after the lunch break. But let's not jump to ahead ourselves. I would like to invite the first speaker. Before that, I also want to stress that you have an opportunity to pose your questions using the Slido, which I really encourage you to do. Again, to use that opportunity and ask all that stuff you're interested in, because it's a great way to do that. And without further ado, I want to invite Dr. Karina Firkavičiūtė, who is a policy officer in DG Research and Innovation, to give her presentation. Please, floor is yours.
Thank you very much. Good morning. It's an honor for me to speak today, especially the first speaker in the morning. Thank you very much. And I hope you're all enjoying this information that is coming from different colleagues from the European Commission with the intention to help to give more details and explanations so that the participants could better use the program. So my objective today is to briefly talk you through the part of the Horizon Europe program that is called Widening Participation and Strengthening the European Research Area. This is a transversal part of the program, which means that it is underpinning the entire Horizon Europe and is dedicated to support activities that contribute to optimizing national strength and potential across the whole Europe, with the, of course, entire objective to strengthen and to form a well-performing European research area. Yesterday, during the discussions and the very opening of this event, it was stressed several times how important it is to have a strong and well-functioning national agenda and national system. So this part of the Horizon Europe, the widening part, shortly called like this, is exactly about that. It's about the instruments that can give national systems some bigger and more potential to participate further in the research programs, so to further succeed on the European and further international level. This part in the Horizon Europe consists of two big bulks. And here in the slide, you see several measures, actions mentioned. Of course, I just would like to warn you, the list is not exhaustive. You will see more details and the full picture in the work programs the moment they will be published and announced. That will happen, we still hope, this spring, maybe early May. There are two things that I would like to draw your attention to while looking into this slide. First thing is about the budget. You can see that the budget, especially for widening participation part, is more or less 3 times bigger as it used to be in Horizon 2020. So this means a lot. Of course, it is a result of the negotiation process, but happily all the co-legislators agreed on that, and the budget is here adopted already. And nearly $500 million for the reforming and enhancing research and innovation system part, or so-called ERA part. So this is one thing. And the second thing, if you look at it very structural, so to the part that is devoted to reforming and enhancing European research and innovation, all countries that are eligible to Horizon Europe are eligible to apply to this part. The widening participation and spreading excellence part has a restricted list of countries that would be eligible to be coordinators for those projects. So this is important to keep in mind. And these countries are so-called EU 13 countries, or the countries that exceeded European Union in 2004 and later, including Greece and Portugal. So these are countries that are eligible as coordinators for the projects. It is important to keep in mind. So as the so-called European research area part of that budget is smaller, but when you take actions, there is a huge amount of actions there. It is formed around 4 strands that correspond to 4 objectives set out in the European research area communication adopted recently last year. So first is to prioritize investments and reforms. Second is about the improvement of access to excellence. Third is about translation of R&I results into the economy. And the fourth about the deepening of the European research area. So these 4 strands are really diversified in several activities. You see some of those instruments mentioned here, but I just encourage to really very well read the upcoming work programs with the details. All will become much clearer here. The focus is, of course, the well-functioning European research area. So if we turn to widening actions per se in Horizon Europe, I would like just to once again remind that, of course, we all know how research and innovation is important for the well-functioning of the economic systems, for the economic wealth, for the productivity, the growth of the productivity. However, everyone is aware, and the co-legislators drafting Horizon Europe were also very much aware that not in every country the system and potential to develop research and innovation is the same. So those disparities still exist, and therefore it was agreed to still keep this part and give a certain attention, even higher attention budgetary, to this part in order to help countries, to help national systems catch up, develop, get stronger in order to succeed further in research, and then later to be able to accomplish the European Union as such. I would like to draw your attention that the actions under this part of widening actions, they are not research and innovation actions per se. Mainly these are coordination and support actions that are the support activities, also called stepping stones for the action. So these are mainly activities directed towards reforms, towards changes, towards strengthening of the system, but not research and innovation per se. This is important to keep in mind. As far as we all know, Lithuania until now was not very much successful in this part in Horizon 2020. I hope very much with this higher budget and with this really diversified and much more diverse portfolio of actions now as it used to be in Horizon 2020, the chances of success will be much bigger, and I wish really so to Lithuanian participants to actively engage and to be active in these measures, get as much as possible out of it. So if we go to the novelties under this part, you see mainly most of them listed here. I would like to draw your attention to 3 points in particular. So first thing is that, of course, the so-called core actions or the main widening actions, the teaming, twinning, and error chess and cost as well, will keep going, will stay mainly the same. As we say, they are a little bit fine-tuned. And one of the important fine-tunes here is that there will be a bulk of the action will be dedicated to research cost as such. Even it is not a research and innovation action, but a certain percentage of cost will be eligible to be used for research itself. So this is an important novelty, I would guess. Another novelty that's also important to keep in mind while applying and while thinking whether to use or not these actions is that there will be much more emphasis, a bigger emphasis dedicated in these actions, in mainly all of them, to develop research management capacities, which is one of the hindering factors, let's say, to succeed further in research and in competitiveness. So the research management will have a dedicated work packages here, so it will be much more important for the Commission to see that those activities are planned and, of course, then to implement them. And the number 3 novelty here is about the synergies. So, you know, in general, synergy will be much more encouraged in different forms of them. Here also, several of them would be eligible to use. Also, the transfer of funds, if you would wish so. Important to say here that the main legislative packages, not only of Horizon Europe, but also of cohesion policy, as well as the state aid regulations and the grant block exceptions regulations. So everything is adapted for participants to be much more flexible and friendly to use the synergies. For teaming actions, especially under widening, synergies will be thought through from the very outset of the proposal, because we plan even to have here a joint evaluation of Horizon Europe and other complementary funding sources, whatever they are. They are not specifically need to be cohesion policy funding. Any other source can be also eligible. But the proposal will be evaluated jointly from evaluating activities under both sources of funding. So this is important to keep in mind. So from the very beginning, it will be one project together thought through for activities and for the complementary funding. Of course, the different sources cannot fund the same activities. So you will be able to see much more novelties and other actions that will come under this package, of course, in more detail in the work programs, and you will hear about it, I suppose, in the upcoming info days for various parts of the work program. However, now, so some of them are listed here, and I would like just to draw your attention to some of them that I think they are all new. And in my understanding, they will be especially important for Lithuanian participants to use. So you can keep in mind and especially analyze those new possibilities. All of them are in one or another way dedicated to the networking, to the developing of networking specific in specific fields. So to be used in order to get new colleagues, new companies for further collaborative research. So just very briefly, Excellence Hubs, it's about collaboration within the innovation ecosystems and among themselves. And what is important, involving all the potential participants there. So from the quadruple helix, so academia, business, public organizations, and civil society. Networks of higher education institutions, it's about the capacity building within the higher education. So it's mainly about universities and ecosystems around universities. What is important to see, and the previous speakers were underlining it already, the national contact points are crucial actors here in helping countries to participate successfully. So under Horizon Europe, the national contact point network will get a specific support in several respects. So from one point of view, the NCP will be strengthened as such, and also it would be equipped with new and additional activities and instruments in helping potential participants. And the number 4 that I would like to draw your attention is that new hop-on facility, where it's about new partners, especially from widening countries, joining it about the possibilities to join already ongoing collaborative projects. All it is bottom up, but it's about the Horizon Europe Pillar 2 actions. So it's about the ongoing actions, ongoing projects that would agree to have a new participant from widening countries, of course, justified and with the agreement of the entire consortium. However, it is a good chance for widening countries to jump into the research directly and get involved into the networks to build on capacities and the potential for the further networking. So all these activities are here. They are nearly done, as you all know, waiting for the work programs to be open and for you to use. So I would like to here finish and thank you very much for attention and encourage you really to apply actively. Also the financial envelope is much bigger, and you have much bigger possibilities than previously if you would like to see it like this. So all the good luck, and really I encourage you to participate. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for your presentation and very informative and very comprehensive. I was thinking, then you said that a budget is 3 times bigger. Asking you a question, what's in it for Lithuania? But actually, you've answered that already very well with your last slide. So I will use the opportunity actually to show that those people who are using the Slido for asking the questions that actually works. This question is probably a little bit wider than precisely to you, but I think you also can react on that. So the question is how synergies between different Horizon Europe pillars and other EU funding programs, so we just turn it around, so between the widening and probably other Horizon Europe programs will be ensured in practice. You've spoken about synergies within the national policies quite a lot, but could you more elaborate those synergies between different EU programs?
Yes, well, thank you very much for the question. Yes, this is a very big novelty for the new programming period, and as I mentioned, so all the legislation from different parts from different programs is already nearly in place to really make these synergies happen in practice. And it will be possible this time really much more actively than it used to be previously. My example was for teaming, where it's a kind of a cumulative funding where you can use several sources at the same time for one action. There will be a possibility to transfer a certain amount of cohesion funds to the Horizon Europe, so-called for national envelopes, where you would be able to say that with this money you would like to fund these or these proposals. Of course, they would need to be well evaluated, and this will be not any longer Lithuanian funding, but it will be Horizon Europe funding. So this will be, and it is already a practical possibility. There are also other possibilities like funding of seals of excellence, in a much higher grade, and also using the state aid exemptions for actions, for research actions. So all the plenty of possibilities for use both sources, if we think about the cohesion policy and Horizon Europe, in a much more active and very real way. So of course it all will start only with the calls when they are open, but everything is ready to be used.
Wonderful. Thank you very much again, Dr. Firkavičiūtė, for your presentation. And I think we're right on the track to move forward with the program. So thank you again. And I would like to invite the second speaker, who will give us 2 presentations in a row. It's Mr. Massimiliano Esposito, who is Deputy Head of Unit in DG Research and Innovation at European Commission. And the first presentation will be focused on the first pillar, excellent science. So please, Massimiliano, the floor is yours.
Yes, good morning to everybody. I hope that everybody listened to me properly. Well, I'm very honored to be here today to discuss you, to present you the main elements, both of Pillar 1 of Horizon Europe and also Pillar 2 in my second presentation. So, first of all, I work for the DG Research and Innovation, as I said, in particular in the unit dealing with the strategic planning and programming of Horizon Europe. You have already seen the presentation before, but also the presentation yesterday from the Commissioner Gabriel, our Director General Jean-Éric Paquet, the importance of research innovation for our prosperity, for our well-being. Let's say the COVID-19 pandemic has highlighted that research innovation is really needed at this stage for our recovery, to make the health system more resilient. So Horizon Europe is set to enable a sustainable recovery through research innovation investment for the challenges of today, that are the green and digital transition for all European citizens and also for Lithuanians. So let me introduce the first pillar. The first pillar is excellent science. There are not many substantial changes with respect to Horizon 2020. Basically, it covers three main axes, three main components: the European Research Council, the Marie Sklodowska reaction, and then research infrastructure. The overall budget of this pillar is 25 billion euro, 16 billion for the European Research Council, 6.6 for Marie Curie Action, and 2.4 for the research infrastructure. So what is the objective of this pillar? We really would like, the main objective is really to prepare the next generation of researchers, of scientists, to promote also the circulation of the research within Europe, to use the knowledge base for this frontier research, fundamental research, for the solution, leading to the solution of the main societal challenges like the green and digital transition. This pillar is the bridge between the European research area and also the European and education area. Communication were adopted by the Commission in September last year. And really, it's on the basis of the higher education transformation agenda. It's a joint effort between the Commission, member states, and stakeholders. These pillars will support creativity, fundamental research, frontier research. Let's say the curiosity-driven schemes promoted by the European Research Council will allow to the European scientific community to push forward the boundary of the research, of the fundamental research. Marie Curie Action are bottom-up action that will support our researcher in all lifelong careers. And then research infrastructure aim to ensure to the academy and the industry to have access to the state-of-art of scientific equipment, infrastructure, and structure. So let me highlight that Lithuania is already participated to the European. Let me start with the European Research Council. Lithuania is already participating to this program, and I hope that its participation in Horizon in Europe in the next year will increase. The European Research Council was set up by the European Union in 2007. It is the main European funding organization for excellent frontier research. Every year, it selects funds and a project for let's say the creative research, the most creative research application of any nationality and age. To date, the European Research Council has given funding to 9,500 top researchers at various stages of their career, and has also funded 70,000 postdoc PhD studies. Let's say the European Research Council strives to attract the top researcher from anywhere. It's open to international cooperation. It's open to the world. It is stimulating also a European international research community to come to do research in Europe. Fundamental research is an essential asset. It is important to give the scientists and the researchers some freedom to explore the fundamental research, the frontiers of knowledge. It has become the world's top funding agency, the European Research Council, and the main selection criteria for the ERC grants is excellence in research. The current situation of pandemic has also reinforced the importance of the fundamental research. In fact, the prerequisite to beat the virus has been basically also all the knowledge that we have developed in the course of the years on virus, on pandemics. And this has allowed the research community to prepare in a very short time, in a few months, in 1 year, to have already the first vaccine. So this groundwork that has been already, this groundwork that has been developed has allowed the scientists around the world to start work on potential treatment and vaccine in really record time. So the European research project can make important contribution to the societal challenges. I've already said that new technologies and also disruptive research innovation are needed to support the green and digital transition and to make the European society more resilient. The work program for the European Research Council has been adopted in February, on 22 February. It covers the first year, so 2021. So the calls support top research and a team to push frontier research at different stages of their career. This first call will also support younger research across Europe who are starting their own independent research team or program. Now, let me pass to the second pillar, the second component of the first pillar, the Marie Sklodowska-Curie action. These actions are important for the successful development of the European research area, as well as for contributing to addressing the main EU research priority. The COVID-19 has highlighted once more the importance for the Union to rely on highly skilled research-based human capital that is able to detect, to tackle upcoming challenges. This Marie Curie action have been first launched in 1996. It has become nowadays the Union reference program for doctoral education and for postdoctoral training. It is also the bridge between, as I was saying before, between the ERA, the European Research Area, and the European Education Area. Between 2014 and 2020, in the context of Horizon 2020, MSCA, the Marie Curie Action, supported around 65,000 researchers in Europe and beyond, both for doctoral candidates and also more experienced researcher. Is also funded, MSCA has also funded 1,000 excellent international doctoral network. Let's say we want to prepare the next generation of scientists to accelerate the circulation and to use the knowledge leading to solution to the climate, to the societal challenge, to the climate and digital transition. In the context of Horizon 2020, if I would like to, you allow me to give some figures for Lithuania, Marie Curie Action have supported the 170 Lithuanian researchers, 170, from 21 institutions, representing around 9 million euro. However, the success rate for Lithuanian applicant is below the EU average. So I really would like warmly to encourage Lithuanian organization and researchers to continue the effort to take full advantage of this opportunity of the Marie Curie Action. We have already heard before in the presentation before the role of the national contact point. This is really important to underline that the national contact point will spread the information, the knowledge and opportunity for the Marie Curie Action in order to increase the participation of Lithuanian researchers to this action. Horizon Europe, in Horizon Europe, Marie Curie Action will continue to structure and to support universities, researchers, and other stakeholders, in particular through the development of excellent doctoral program. It will continue to pave the way to international strategic partnership to allow also to the third country researcher to participate to the program. In fact, in the participation of a third country researcher in Horizon 2020 has been relatively high. So the research infrastructure program is the third component of the first pillar. It will empower Europe through world-class and accessible research infrastructure as part of the European research and technology infrastructure landscape. Research infrastructure include also the European Open Science Cloud technology infrastructure, which are crucial for the research and technological innovation, are drivers for also the data inter-service science. Europe will benefit from integrated and interoperable both research infrastructure and technology infrastructure. It will help to cover the needs of fundamental knowledge creation, also to the development, deployment, and supported implementation of open science policies. So these are the main elements of the three components of the first pillar. I conclude here my first part of presentation in case there are questions before presenting the second pillar. Thank you very much for giving me this opportunity today.
Thank you very much, Massimiliano, for very encouraging presentation and also invitation to use most of the existing opportunities. We actually have probably few questions which we might ask. So one of those is related to what you already have spoken quite extensively about. So it's training networks and attraction of researchers and Maria Skłodowska reactions. So this is the question. Sounds like will hop-on actions support these kind of actions, training network projects as well? And is there a limit of time left to the project and for joining the consortium? So this is a more general question related to the hop-on action, but the first part is specifically targeted to the training projects.
Yes, thanks for this question. Yes, there are opportunities for open activities on training and network, and to give the possibility and to spread the knowledge of the opportunities for Marie Curie action for the Horizon Europe. So let me precise that the Marie Curie action will be published within the main work program that of Horizon Europe. It will be published according to the current planning around early May. I will give also more detailed information in my second presentation. So the Marie Curie action are part of the publication of the main work program to be adopted in early May. So this work program will follow action, so there will be calls with specific timelines that will need to be followed. All the topics will be described, all the bottom-up opportunities will be presented in this main work program. For calls that will cover both the 2021 budget and also the year 2022. So it will be the first work program that which cover action for 21 and 22. So there are specific time limits for joint action. These time limits are will be indicated in the definition of the calls in the work program. So I really invite that all the colleagues, all the researchers, all the possible potential beneficiaries that are interested to join this action, to contact the national contact point or to see the limits, the time limits that are indicating that will be indicated in the work program.
Mm-hmm. Thank you very much. I also use the opportunity, as you mentioned, NCPs, remind our participants that after the formal part of the event, there will be a lunch break, after which you will have an opportunity to speak to the NCPs. So just a brief reminder before going, Massimiliano, to your second presentation. You have mentioned a little bit of that already. But probably you can take that question both here and afterwards. But if you say that you will go through that in your presentation, so we can skip these questions. But the question is, when will all work programs for 21-22 years period will be approved? So if you will have an answer in your presentation, so we can just straightforward skip to your presentation, but if you want to add something now, so
this is a question that was really planned to be tackled in my second part of the presentation, but I'm happy to take it now, actually. Also to give a more wide presentation on the different dates. So Horizon Europe has different parts, different components. So first of all, the European Research Council, I would like to summarize the main dates, the key dates for the different parts of the work program. So For the European Research Council, the first work program has been already adopted on the 22nd of February. So there are calls that are already open. There are some deadlines that are already approaching. Some deadlines are already in April. So I really invite to all Lithuanians, all the organization, all the researchers that are really interested to the European Research Council calls. These are open since 22nd February, and there are specific deadlines that needs to be respected. Then there is the European Innovation Council, and there will be a specific presentation after my presentation. I've seen on the third pillar, but the European Innovation Council has already adopted the work program. It is the annual work program, so it covers the calls in 2021. This work program has been adopted on 17 March. So the calls are open and there are specific deadlines that need to be respected. Then today, the Commission is adopting a, let's say, a mini work program that covers Cluster 1 and Research Infrastructure of Pillar 2, Cluster 1 Health and Research Infrastructure. Basically, it covers the action under the Cluster 1 Health and Research Infrastructure to address the challenges that are related to the COVID-19 variants. On the 17th of February, the Commission has adopted a communication that is called the HERA Incubator, calling for some action in order to address the challenges of the COVID-19 variants. As part of this framework, as part of this response, there is this work program that will be adopted actually today. It is a mean work program that covers a budget of 123 million euro with a specific call for expression of interest that will be published on 7th of April. Then the main work program, let's say the big bulk of action or calls, the main bulk of action will be really open in early May. The current planning is to adopt the main Horizon Europe work program, which cover both 21 and 22, which cover different parts of the Horizon Europe. So it will cover the second pillar, all the cluster of the second pillar. Then it will cover Marie Curie action, research infrastructure, and the European innovation ecosystem, and action in widening and staggering area that the colleague just before the presentation before has already presented. So this main work program in our planning is really to adopt this main work program in the early May, let's say the first week of May. If everything goes smoothly, this is the planning. Thanks a lot.
Wonderful. Thank you very much, Massimiliano, for your answers. And I see a couple more questions have fallen into our hands. So maybe we can take one of those and then leave other ones after your second presentation. So just a very short as a starter. The question, which has now 2 likes, I see, it's is it possible that drafts of work programs will be changed dramatically, or will there be a little cosmetic change? So probably you can answer that and then proceed with your second presentation on the second pillar straightforward.
Okay, thanks a lot. Yes, we are in this process of, let's say, concluding the process of drafting the work program. The draft that are currently, let's say, discussed in the context of the shadow configuration of the program committees, the different expert group that have been established with the representative of member states, let's say, are good basis, but the Commission is currently undertaking all the internal procedure before the adoption. So part of this procedure is the inter-service consultation. So DG Research is consulting all the other services of the Commission, and this process already includes some changes. Probably I don't expect really radical changes on the work program, but there will be changes following this process. This process is also important to ensure what are the synergies that were mentioned before with other programs. It is part of the decision-making process internal of the Commission to ensure that there are synergies with other programs, like, I don't know, InvestEU, the other program, the cohesion funds, and so on. So I would say yes, there might be changes, probably not radical changes, but there might be changes in this process. Then there will be the consultation with the program committees. So this shadow configuration of program committees will need to give their vote on the draft program. Also here, we might expect a further fine-tuning. So before the final adoption that is planned in early May. So there will be changes, but not. I don't expect there will be substantial radical changes. So this reply will allow me to start the second part of my presentation. Some elements have been already indicated in my replies to the question. So the second pillar, I will focus my presentation on the second pillar, global challenges and the European industrial competitiveness. This pillar really aims to fund, to promote collaborative research between beneficiary, between SME, industry, research organization, research institute in the member states. The second pillar is structured via six main clusters, and we can see also that is part of the second pillar, the Commission on Research Institution, that is the Joint Research Center. It is a key, the second pillar, to reach the goal that the legislator has posed in the Legislative Act on the climate mainstreaming. So 35% of the overall budget of Horizon Europe will be dedicated to pave the way to make the Europe climate neutral. So really, it is really very crucial, especially some clusters like Cluster 5, Cluster 6. It's very important, the contribution of these clusters to the climate mainstreaming target. The overall budget of Pillar 2 is around 53.5 billion euro. Cluster 1, that is health, has a budget of around 8.2 billion euro, including the funding from the Next Generation EU, 1.35 billion euro. The second cluster, culture, creativity, inclusive societies, has an overall budget of 2.3 billion euro. The third cluster is civil security and society, 1.6 billion euro. The fourth cluster with a budget of 15 billion euro. This budget also benefit of some funding, 1.35 billion euro from the Next Generation Europe. The fifth cluster, climate, energy, and mobility, as an equivalent budget of around 15 billion euro, with also this cluster benefit of funding from Next Generation EU. And the last budget, last cluster, food, bioeconomy, natural resource, agriculture, and environment, has a budget of around 9 billion euro. In summary, the Next Generation EU funding contribute to the cluster 1, cluster 4, and cluster 5, and the part also to the third pillar, to the European Innovation Council. So what is the main feature of this pillar is the strategic planning. The strategic planning is particularly relevant for the second pillar of Horizon Europe. It basically links the research and innovation with the key priorities of the Commission or the Union. So the first strategic planning has been adopted recently, 2 weeks ago, on the 15th of March, and it really represents a major milestone for the rollout of Horizon Europe. The overall budget, you have already heard with the presentation yesterday, Horizon Europe, is 95.5 billion euro. Basically, the strategic plan define how basically it is intended to invest, how we intend to invest these resources. It acts as a compass, the strategic plan, to guide research innovation at the European level. Basically, it bridges the research and innovation action with the priority of the Union, the climate and digital transition, and the European, to make Europe more resilient, a more resilient European society and economy. So, taking the EU priority as a starting point, the strategic plan defines the key strategic orientation for the research and innovation investment. It defines 4 key strategic orientation. The first one, to create a Europe that is strategical autonomy while preserving our open economy. The second strategic orientation, to restore Europe ecosystem and biodiversity, managing sustainable our natural resources. The third strategic orientation is to make Europe the first digital-enabled, circular, climate-neutral, sustainable economy. And the fourth one, to create a more resilient, inclusive, democratic European society. So you can see how these 4 key strategic orientations that are defined in the strategic plan basically are aiming to cover, to address the main European challenges that are the green digital transition and recovery, to make Europe more resilient. Now, the strategic plan, beyond the key strategic orientation, define also 32 expected impact. The expected impact of the plan are reflected then, are translated in the work program. Sorry, using a more technical terminology, but just to get the audience more used for what will be seen in the work program that will be published in May. These expected impact, the 32 expected impact that are defined in the strategic plan, are reflected in the so-called destinations of the work program. Basically, this destination, this expected impact, set out the goals. So where we want to go with this research and innovation investment. Then it will be to the proposer, it will be to the researcher, to innovator, to the citizen to make the proposal. So to how to reach this objective. So the expected impact, these 32 expected impact have been defined in the last 2 years of consultation with the stakeholders. It has been a very long bottom-up approach, bottom-up process, together with all the stakeholders through the all RNI Day, the stakeholders consultation that Commission has invested in, also with the member states and the European Parliament. So the strategy plan defines also the missions. The missions are the novelty in the Horizon Europe legislation, are basically provide a political opportunity to answer, to address today's societal challenges, also to reconnect to the citizens. We want to give the directionality to solve the most complex challenges in Union. The missions will have a clear goal, objective, and timeline. Basically, that will capture the imagination, bringing together research and innovation action with financial support, and they are defined with the full involvement of the citizens, and to create a broad support, a narrow, with a broad support from the citizens. The mission, as defined also in the legal base, it's introduced a portfolio approach. Basically, the impact of the mission is measured through the sum of individual action, quindi not only research and innovation action, but also other programs contribute to the achievement of the mission. The mission will be programmed within the second pillar of Horizon Europe, global challenges and European industrial competitiveness, but can also benefit from action carried out in other different programs, also with complementary action carried out in other union funding programs. So, following extensive consultation with the citizens, with the European Parliament, with the member states, the mission board chair, and also we have identified different 5 mission areas that are covering adaptation to climate change, health of ocean seas, as well as coastal and continental waters. Then there is a mission covering area. So the ultimate goal is really to save more than 3 million lives by 2030. Then smart and carbon neutral cities. The objective is really to promote 100 European cities in their effort to achieve carbon neutrality by 2030. So this is really in accordance with the objectives of the European Green Deal. And then the 5th mission area is soil, health, and food. So the objective is really to ensure by 2030, 75% of the soil in EU member states that is healthy. These missions are concrete, have a concrete objective, realistic, reachable objective, have a time-limited objective, and meet the expectation of Europeans for a greener, healthier world. They can only be accomplished if we mobilize all the energy, the synergies, all the energies in research and innovation, but also at European, national, at local level. So the other instruments that are part of the second pillar are the partnership. We have identified overall 49 candidate partnership. In the strategic plan, we have 29 co-programmed and co-funded partnership with a planned budget of around 10.9 billion euro. But then we need to add the 10 institutional partnerships that are currently in negotiation with the member states and the councils, and then the key innovation knowledge communities within the European Institute of Technology, EIT. So overall are 49 partnerships, and this represent this has been a big effort for the Commission in the last years. So to really reform and rationalize the mission of the partnership. In Horizon 2020, we had 120 partnerships. Here we have rationalized the overall scenario of partnership from 120 to 49. The majority of these proposed partnership aim to accelerate the transition towards a climate neutral, a circular society and economy. Many candidates are aiming to team up with the industry, the private sector, to decarbonize energy and the mobility, the transport, and with the support also of member states. They are aiming to provide solutions for the protection and sustainable management of resources, water, soil, and biodiversity. Others aim also to building a greater resilience of European health care system industry, including by ensuring EU technological leadership, open strategic autonomy in critical areas such as smart network and services, artificial intelligence, data, robotic, hydrogen and batteries. So these are the main areas that are covered in the partnership that are identified. The strategic plan covers also some of the cross-cutting elements of Horizon Europe, covers issues like gender, social science, humanities integration, ethics, open science, social innovation, and green EU taxonomy, and also the international cooperation. So let me spend a few words, especially on international cooperation. So the strategic plan states that the Horizon Europe international cooperation is open to the participation of entities from a third country. For that reason, the participation of entities and researchers from the world continue to be a key element for Horizon Europe. Beyond the minimal eligibility condition in collaborative project, entities from anywhere in the world can participate in Horizon Europe calls. The first Horizon Europe work program, covering especially cluster pillar 2, as I say, the research infrastructure, innovation, ecosystem, and Marie Curie action. We expect to have around 200 topics. This is 1/5 of the overall topic, more than 1,000 topics, which explicitly encourage and in some cases require the participation of entities from third countries, as well as topics that contribute to the objective of multilateral initiative. There are around 85 international cooperation topics which target cooperation with specific third country, in particular with Africa, Japan, the United States, Canada, South Korea, Latin America, and other regions. The However, the strategic plan states also that international cooperation action will be based on reciprocity. So we are expected that there is reciprocity and respect for values, EU standard values and principles. This is also indicating in the strategic plan. The action will be in any case, designed to protect the EU interest, the EU sovereignty and strategic technology areas, in critical component, in critical infrastructure. So in this context has to be seen the international cooperation in Horizon Europe that will be also reflected in the communication on global approach, on overall global approach to research and innovation, that the Commission intended to publish a communication on global approach to research and innovation in later this year. So I would like to spend a few words that we have now opportunity for research and innovation community with these calls. So I really invite the Lithuanian research community to take to benefit of this community. Few figures from the participation in Horizon 2020. We have 500 participants. We have seen around 500 participation in Horizon 2020 from Lithuania. This is quite a high success rate. In overall, corresponded to 15% Lithuanian success rate, while the EU average is 11.9. But we can do more. Lithuania can do more. Really, I really would like to invite you to build on the success of Horizon 2020 to facilitate the involvement of new actors, taking into account all the opportunities that are represented today. We have seen Marie Curie Action, Pillar 1, Pillar 2. There will be also the presentation on the third pillar, the European Innovation Council. Let's say 500 participants so far. Let's celebrate together soon the 1,000 participation Lithuanian in Horizon Europe. And with these words, I really would like to conclude my presentation for the second pillar, and I am happy to take the question from the floor. Thanks a lot.
Thank you very much, Massimiliano, for your presentation. We have quite a few questions, but we also have quite time left to answer them. So this is really great. I'm using the opportunity also and encourage additionally people to post their question using the Slido. So we will be able to answer them. I will. There are few questions, in my opinion, which are quite related to one another. So I will read both of them in duplets, so you will be able to tackle them more systematically. So the first block of the questions would focus on some budgets and co-funding of the partnership. So will missions have their own calls and budget, or they will be included in different cluster calls other than Horizon Europe pillars? And the second question, which in my opinion is related a little bit to that, will be there opportunities to participate in all co-funded partnerships, even if Lithuania will decide not to join some of the partnerships? So if you could take those together or one by one, that would be very great.
Thanks a lot for this question. as part of, for the first question regarding the mission calls, the mission I've described extensively in my presentation, objective of the mission. The mission will have a specific part of the work program, of the main work program. So there will be a devoted part of the budget, a specific budget for the missions, and there will be a specific work program for the mission. So we have a separate work program with specific calls. Now, what it is expected in the work program that will be published in early May, there will be only part of the budget, of the full envelope. The Horizon Europe legal base defines that up to 10% of overall budget of Pillar 2 should be devoted to the missions. So in the early May, the work program that will be adopted in early May, there will be only a relatively small part of the overall budget, because it covers, it should be around 25 million euro of calls or topics that are aiming for a first phase of the mission, let's say, that is a preparatory phase of the mission. Then we are expecting that a more political decision is taken on the mission, on the launch of, let's say, the launch properly said of the mission are expected, is expected later in the year. So we are planning an update of this mission work program with a more extensive and more detailed action, which would cover a larger budget with more action and more opportunities for the missions. So to reply to your question is really that we have a devoted work program, a specific work program of mission with specific actions. So, but the bulk of the budget, let's say, for the mission will be programmed in a work program update that we are planning later this year, by the end of this year, or when we have a more formal launch of the mission with a clear definition of the implementation plan of the mission. Now, yes, the co-funded partnership are, yes, indeed open for the participation to all the partners. Naturally, it is needed to demonstrate the value added and the commitment of the involvement. So these are co-funded partnership are open to the participation of any entity. So we are really open to and really invite all the Lithuanians to participate, to see what are the different opportunities and what type of participation value add you can bring.
Okay, thank you. Another block of the questions more focused on national perspective. So of course it's some participants would like to hear just your probably your expertise opinion on that, rather than there is no right answer on this. But do you think it would be a good idea to design national research and innovation programs on the same topics as European missions? And the second question, which again, in my opinion, is related to that: what involvement of national ministries should be to foster better achievements in expectant impact, specifically focusing on second pillar?
Yes. Basically, the participation of all EU entities, also ministries, center, national research center, it's welcome in all parts of the Horizon Europe, not only in Pillar 2. Concerning the EU mission and the particular the national design and national involvement, let's say we have to see be basically because there will be a separate work program for devoted to the mission, but it will be really very limited with very target participation. And the missions, as I said, really need not only funding at EU budget, but need also national activities. So let's say that national and local entities and the citizens, the contribution of citizens as such is fundamental to make the mission a reality, to make the objective of the mission reachable. So I would say, yes, it is important that the participation of national ministry at all level, or national entities at all level, at ministry or local level, contribute to the success, to the success of the mission. So, and in general, EU ministry, research center, national research center can participate in all collaborative, can be part of all collaborative project that are research and innovation action, that depending on the different topic, their participation is welcome. Yes.
Wonderful. Speaking about the participation, there is a few more questions on this. One probably more question, and another is probably a rhetorical question, but maybe also will be able to react on that. How can other entities which are not typical research innovation actors get involved in Horizon Europe program? The person who is asking has in mind hospitals, museums, NGOs, municipalities, etc. And the second question, which is again, in my opinion, related at least to some extent to this. Often the project of small institutions are drowned in the project of giant organizations. Is it attractive to work under such rules? So this is more rhetorical, but maybe you will have some insights on that as well.
Concerning who can participate, yes, the entities, the nature. So let me say that the legal base that doesn't list, defines only any legal entities that are based in European EU member states or also associated country can participate. So all these research activities, not only Pillar 2, but any part of the work program are open to the participation or any actor. I've seen many programs, many collaborative projects where hospitals, where or NGO or research organization, or also entities that are not properly research hospital, also hospital and research can be a research institute, but users or NGO can participate. So let's say that the definition of participant, you will see also in the general annex that will be published together with the main work program, who can participate. There is a definition of any legal entity that is based, registered in Europe territory, on the member states, associated country, can participate. So naturally, this is a collaborative research. We are funding collaborative project, so it is not only fundamental research. We want also, in some cases, according to the topics, we want to have also the users of some possible products, some possible applications, a simple demonstration program. So it is really wide, the definition of the participants in the work program. So, as concerned the small, medium enterprise, small, medium-sized enterprise, SME, the Horizon Europe, like Horizon 2020, favor the participation of small, medium enterprise. This is really very important. their also participation not only to the topics of the call, but also on co-funding, the co-program and the partnership. You will see the third part, the third pillar, the European Innovation Council, that is really targeted to small, medium enterprise, to small entities, small realities, mid-cap industry, innovators, and so on. Should we favor that small medium enterprise join a collaborative project with large project? There is no rule on this. There is no rule. We can have a consortium of all small medium enterprise that is very successful. This is especially the case for in many cases, but perhaps the fact that small medium enterprise join a consortium with large company, the only benefit is to try to take into account for the small medium enterprise to have the support from the experience of large actors on Horizon Europe, on Horizon Framework Program. This might be the only benefit, but this is not always the case. So I would say that the participation of small medium enterprise is really encouraged in Horizon Europe. Small medium enterprise are the backbone of the key economy, and I really would invite all SME that are following this participation, in particular to look at the opportunities of the third pillar, in particular the European Innovation Council and the European innovation ecosystems. But all parts, especially also Pillar 2, all clusters are open to the participation of a small medium enterprise.
Wonderful. I'm very happy that a lot of people are using this opportunity when we have such a speaker as yourself, Massimiliano. So if you're able to stick for a couple more questions, we are really happy to use that opportunity. I see the questions related to the Bauhaus, so I will just in a second get to them. But before, I want to ask another question, which is have been posted quite a while ago. Now, 10 European partnerships between the EU member states and our industry are approved. Will unapproved 39 candidates remain unimplemented via Horizon Europe?
I don't get it's not very clear, the question. The 10 members, I think that the 10 partnership that you are referring are the institutionalized partnership, Article 185, 187, basically the institutionalized partnership, joint undertakings. So yes, these have been adopted by the Commission. There is a proposal of a single basic act that currently is under negotiation with the Council and also with the institution. Some need to be negotiated with the Parliament. So, these I would not say that are adopted, proposed by the Commission, let's say, but the adoption we have to see following this institutional negotiation. We have to wait for the final adoption. Then there are the co-programmed and co-funded, the 29 co-programmed and co-funded partnership that are identified in the strategic plan. So these are the 29 partnership, both co-funded and co-programmed, that are identified. And so these, in practice, we need the co-funded will be part of the Horizon Europe Work Program. So we have to wait the publication of the Horizon Europe Work Program for the calls opportunities.
Okay, so this is my last encouragement for participants to ask the question, because soon we will switch to another presentation. But until then, there are two questions in relation to Bauhaus. We have recently, actually last week, we had a few events in Lithuania in relation to the European New Bauhaus initiative. So those two questions are as follows. Could you please elaborate more on the new European Bauhaus pilot projects, which are now foreseen in the missions work package, and how the new European Bauhaus will be linked with missions? So I think it's basically the same questions, the same coin with different sides.
Yes. Yes, thank you for this question. It's true. The new Bauhaus initiative, pilot initiative, is really included in the mission work program. We foresee 25 pilot action that will be published together with the main Horizon Europe work program that are identified in the mission work program. So the question, why this mission, this new pilot action have been identified in the mission? Because basically, if we see the objective of the Bauhaus initiative really to combine, let's say, the architecture design together with the objective of the Green Deal, the sustainability, including combine sustainability, aesthetics, objective together in line with the European Green Deal, we see that many of these objectives are perfectly in line with the objective of the missions. In fact, I've mentioned the mission, for example, the smart city mission, the adaptation for climate change, or the adaptation of climate change, smart cities, or then yes, there are almost 3 or 4 missions. They are perfectly in line with the objective of the missions. So just 1 second. Yes, but okay, there is the smart carbon neutral cities, and then also the adaptation climate change. But climate change is really an objective for all, at least for missions. So for this reason, especially for the link of the objective of the mission that with the objective of the Bauhaus initiative. For this reason, that the Bauhaus initiative has been included in the mission work program. It is a very targeted action. These are a pilot targeted action of 25 million euro. All the details will be found in the description of the mission work program that will be published in May.
Okay, and a couple of more very short questions. When would we expect the annotated model grant agreement? That would be very helpful.
Yes, I received a question a few weeks ago. Unfortunately, we are working very closely to the publication of an annotated model grant agreement. We hope to publish this in the coming weeks, at least before the adoption of the work program. But we are very close to its publication. Yes. We are waiting for few approval before its publication.
Thank you. And just another question had popped up. It's good day. How about participation UK in Horizon Europe project? So maybe very shortly,
yes.
You could.
Yes, absolutely. Let's say the agreement that was reached in December was very clear. UK and the UK entities will participate to Horizon Europe. And it has already defined, let's say, a draft protocol for the participation of the UK. Let's say that we need to formalize this. We need a protocol of association that needs to be formalized. As for all other member states, this formalization can happen only when the Horizon Europe legal base enters into force. So according to the current planning, I think the Horizon Europe legal base should be approved in May, but as the protocol or the association protocol with the UK has already basically defined, so the participation should be, this protocol of association should be finalized very easily in the following month. So in any case, UK participation UK can participate to Horizon Europe. UK entities can participate to Horizon Europe.
Okay, wonderful. I also want just to announce that someone who is very kind have put the exact name of foreseen work package of culture, creativity, and inclusive society, where you can find a call for Bauhaus. So there's also part of the answer for those who are seeking that. And the last question, Massimiliano, for you, and I will then very warmly thank you for all the effort you have done. The last question is related to, if you would have a chance to send one final message to those organizations from Lithuania, what that message would be?
Yes.
In relation to Horizon Europe, of course.
Yeah, before working in the Commission, working in the industry, in the industrial sector myself, I have been involved in several of these call for proposals that have been published in the Commission by the Commission in the previous framework program. So I really would like to invite all the research organization, all the entities that are here participating to take these opportunities. There are many opportunities. I know that the administrative work sometimes can be demotivating, but don't be demotivated. It's important that there is a high level of participation, because more you participate, more chance there is for you to success. So take into account the important role that the national counterpoint play in this. The Lithuanian counterpoint, feel free to contact and to get all the possible information, and important also the networking. It is important to establish networking with entities between you and also entities with the other European Union entities. I think, yes, it might be quite difficult at the beginning to participate with all these forms to fill and so on, but I would really give a message of really, I would warmly invite all the Lithuanian actors to research organization and NGO, to all this research center, national authority to participate, because there are many opportunities. And research and innovation, we need a research and innovation. Europe, Lithuania needs a system of research, a solid system of research and innovation. We have seen with the challenges of the pandemic, COVID-19 pandemic, the importance of research and innovation. And so I really invite all the actors to take all these opportunities.
Wonderful. So once again, thank you very much, Massimiliano, for all your presentations and answers to the questions.
Thank you very much.
We have heard Massimiliano Esposito, who is a deputy head of unit in DG Research and Innovation, who have presented us the first and the second pillar of European Horizon program, and we had a lot of opportunities to ask the questions, and I'm really happy that we have used that opportunity. So I again encourage all the participants to stay as active as you were during the upcoming presentation. And I would like now invite Mr. Vygandas Jankūnas, who is Policy Officer in DG Research and Innovation at European Commission, who will present us with the third pillar on Innovative Europe. So please, Vygandas, the floor is yours.
Ladies and gentlemen, good morning. From Brussels, actually sunny Brussels, which doesn't happen very often. And thank you for, first of all, inviting me today to speak in the context of this important launch event of the Horizon Europe and Opportunities for Lithuania. It is an honor and a privilege, I can say, for me to present, would qualify, although rather briefly, the pillar 3 of the Horizon Europe, and we speak notably the European Innovation Council, EEAC, shortcut, European Innovation Ecosystems, and the European Institute of Innovation and Technology, EIT. So, try to, here we are. So, the Innovative Europe Pillar 3, as you see, aims to make Europe a front runner in market creating innovation via the European Innovation Council. It also helps to connect with regional and national innovation actors via the European innovation ecosystems, and to develop the overall EU innovation landscape through the European Institute of Innovation and Technology, which fosters integration of the knowledge triangle of education, research, and innovation. As you see on the slide, the budget is huge. We talk about 10.6 billion as respect to the European Innovation Council and European Innovation Ecosystems, and it's huge. The amount of 10.1 billion actually belongs to UAC, and we have 3 billion for the EAT. Now, going straight forward to the European Innovation Council. The fully pledged DAC has been launched on 18 March 2021, so it's very recent, with very high ambitions for years to come. It is the European flagship in the field of innovation that will probably be copied by other technological powers. And we see some interest coming also from the US, other technological powers as China as well. As mentioned in the slide, it has a budget of around, as I mentioned earlier, 10.1 billion for 2021 to 2028. And something actually I would really like to underline, of which likely over 3 billion goes to equity. As regards to the experience from the EAC pilot phase, the pilot phase started from 2018, 2020. It's certainly important to stress the major characteristics and achievements of the EAC pilot accelerator, including SME instrument. Just to recall to somebody actually not really familiar to the EAC, it's also a continuity of SME instrument, if I can express that way. So recall just what happened, notably, it's important. This is unique offer of funding, which didn't happen in the past. We have grant and equity. Growing demand was as a pilot phase from startups, SMEs, including female founders. This is, I would like again to underline, we try to address the gender issue. Also, a lot of things done in respect to the SDGs. And the main thematics were Green Deal, digital, health, and a proven impact as regards to the additional investments attracted elsewhere. So we have what we call leverage effect once the EAC invested in any startup or innovation. It attracted naturally other investments coming from elsewhere. So now a few figures as regards Lithuanian performance, and specifically in terms of the EAC Pathfinder pilot. Here, I hope you see very well this slide. I will not go to the details, but we see the Lithuanian participants were part of 101 proposals out of 6,000, around 7,000 proposals. That unfortunately represents only 1.5%. I would certainly not go to more details on this, but I think this is probably because of the pilot phase. There is some time needed, information needed for Lithuanian innovators to understand the value of the EAC pilot in the past, and maybe that's actually resulted some time for coming and applying for this particular scheme, specifically respect to the Pathfinder pilot. This situation is a bit more different as respect to the accelerator SME instrument. I would stress here that we have 6 Lithuanian startups SMEs were awarded Seal of Excellence as performing high quality projects, but unfortunately not funded directly by the EAC pilot. The success rate as regards to the Seal of Excellence for Lithuania, we can see in the graph, is pretty much high, I would say around 19%. That is in fact higher than average, but as we can see, again, this is not funded at the EAC pilot phase. So something definitely must be done that Lithuanian innovators come with the proposals and be more active respected to all phases of the EAC fully fledged. By now, the EAC, European Innovation Council instrument, which is available as oh, sorry, this is my series start to talk. Apologies for this. All right, so I switched off. So let's go to the EAC in Horizon Europe. So how will the EAC look in Horizon Europe? The EAC activities are divided into 3 main areas. As you can see on the slide, we have a Pathfinder, Transition, and Accelerator. This is probably the most important things to be flagged in this presentation as respect to the EAC. The missions actually is to identify, develop, and deploy the high-risk innovations of all kinds. Focus on the breakthrough, market creating, and deep tech. The EAC, as already was mentioned in the previous presentations, including yesterday, is steered by the EAC board of leading innovators. It offers, very important to highlight, the business acceleration services, which sincerely I really incentivize to use it. Because it's very, very helpful if the Lithuanian applicants wish to understand the way it actually functions, or to enlarge the network and be known by other potential applicants or other investors. There's something actually is also very importantly to be underlined: the proactive management of the with the EAC program managers once the applications are admitted. Follow-up funding for results from the Horizon, ERC, EIT, collaborative, and also naturally national programs. As regards to the EAC Work Program 2021, which is already adopted, the key novelties are following. On the EAC Pathfinder, we have the role of the program managers and simplified award of the additional 50,000 grant if needed. Overall, just to recall to everybody that the grants, if they awarded, they can go up to 3 million for open calls and up to 4 million when we talk about challenge-driven. And if necessarily, it could also be more if properly justified, naturally. Talking about transition, new funding scheme to bridge a gap between the research phase, proof of concept, and pre-commercial for follow-up to results from EAC Pathfinder and ERC proof of concept. Here again, it's I think it's a great interest to everybody. The grants can also go up to 2.5 million. And of course, naturally, if properly justified, could go above. Now, as respect to the accelerator, we talk about blended finance. Here we have a grant and investment, but options naturally are available for grant only and grant fast. For instance, with investment follow-up. The blended finance can go up to 2.5 million with respect to the grant component for technology and development and validation. And very, very important to highlight that it also go to 500,000 to 15 million investment component for scaling up and other activities as respect to the EAC accelerator. Moreover, a special emphasis was given to make the application process friendly to any innovator. Its explanations provided here in the slide and the way it functions. And the seal of excellence was also enforced. So wherever actually the proposals are not accepted, but they are sufficiently and really highly valued, they are might be awarded for the seal of excellence. So here on this slide, we see what's happened in concrete terms. The EAC main funding opportunities for 2021. We have Accelerator Open. We have Accelerator Challenges. So Accelerator Open is wherever the applications will be considered. When we talk about the challenges, we talk about specific top-down, more or less thematic ones, the Green Deal, for instance, and the strategic technology, digital and health. We have a Pathfinder Open as well. We have on the right side the amounts which actually will be awarded in total, the budget. We have a Pathfinder Challenges. Here is the list, actually, the ones we talk about. The awareness inside measures stimulate brain, cell, gene therapy, green hydrogen, engineering living materials, and then we have, of course, transition open and transition challenges. So I think this talks itself, and I don't need to add some additional information on this. Now let's go to the European innovation ecosystems. The second section of the Horizon Pillar 3 relates to the European innovation ecosystems, as you noticed the first slide I presented. Innovation ecosystems means an ecosystem that brings together the EU-level actors or entities whose functional goal is to enable technology development and innovation. It encompasses relations between material resources, institutional entities, and national, regional, and local policymaking and funding entities. This is very important to understand before we start to go to the details. So, what happened with the European innovation ecosystems? The structure and proposed initiatives of European innovation ecosystems in light of the Horizon Europe take, in fact, into consideration the outcomes of the broad public consultation of innovation ecosystems, key players which took place between in 2020, including numerous workshops and the online survey. And what happened together with the need for the EAC forum, as you see in the slide, 3 major needs emerged from this public consultation. And actually we see on the right side, we talk about connectedness, competence, and capital. So there is a need for connectedness between the stakeholders at all levels, fostering entrepreneurial culture and a better actionable information, partnerships between the startups and corporates, support for early stage entrepreneurs, scaling up and existence, involvement of citizens, this is a very important thing, competence building, capital attraction and use, the risking of investments and development of scaling of up culture among stakeholders. It was also stressed the need to include the use of European regulatory sandboxes and stimulating the public procurement for innovation. So as a conclusion of this broad consultation, we have currently 4 main areas to be considered in the European Innovation Ecosystems Work Program, which is to be adopted very soon, hopefully. So we would probably have an area which will be currently EAC Forum. EAC Forum would naturally aim to foster enabling framework conditions and flows of information, knowledge, and talent among actors of innovation ecosystems and the European Innovation Council, because we have to have a synergies with other structures. The second area to be considered is the co-funding joint innovation programs. Here, the objective would be to reinforce smart cooperation and connectedness of national, regional, local innovation ecosystems across Europe. The third area we talk about the joint programs to provide with necessary means to assist networks, platforms, regional or local actors. It would relate to cooperation between hubs and tackling issues such as the failure-adverse culture in Europe, talent flows, and companies' challenges naturally following the COVID-19 crisis. Finally, the fourth area I would like to stress is about the data sharing and monitoring the results. It would relate to better monitoring, intelligence gathering is needed to tackle, in fact, the challenges of European innovation ecosystems overall. So this is about the European innovation ecosystems. Now we go to European Institute Innovation and Technology. This is in fact the third section of the European of the Horizon Europe Pillar 3, which in fact brings together businesses, education, and research dimensions in so-called, for somebody who are familiar, the knowledge triangle. That also, by the way, involves the public authorities and civil society. Something actually now it's important to stress in this particular slide is the that the European Commission has laid out the ambitious agenda for the EIT for the coming years. It is important to stress that the EIT Strategic Innovation Agenda 2021-2027 includes 3 priority areas, which is the first one, the boosting support to higher education. I heard a lot of discussions also during the first day of this event, and I think it's important to underline the importance of education overall. So the second area is the increase in regional development efforts, and the third one, strengthen the impact of the EIT knowledge and innovation communities, so called KICS. These priorities are supported by proposed budget, which actually already mentioned earlier. It's 3 billion for 7 years, from 2021 to 2027. The EIT is planning to bolster its support to higher education in a number of ways. This is something, first of all, EIT will streamline the EIT label, focus more on quality assurance, and extend it to a broader network of students and institutions beyond the EIT community. On a broader level, the EIT will build the innovation capacities of higher education institutions. It will also provide the funding, expertise, coaching, leveraging the deep knowledge and networks of the EIT KICs. It is also important to stress that the Commission has proposed the creation of a new EIT KICs for the cultural and creative industries. The EIT culture creative will bring together Europe's culture and creative innovators from businesses, research and education in the pan-European innovation ecosystems. So this is new dimension which we certainly come as a news, and the EIT will tackle also the cultural issues. Now, just to present in this slide what are we talking about as respect to the KICs. The EIT, as from 2020, has established 8 knowledge and innovation communities operating in the following areas. The EIT innovation communities. We start from the right to the left. If we go to the talk about EIT climate kick, food, health, energy, manufacturing, raw materials, and urban mobility. I think due to the time limit, I will not go to the more details on this. And now, just to wrap up my presentation, before something I would like to really share with you. I would like to underline that we all Europeans have a great deal of work ahead of us. Although the EIC and EIT are different structures, both EIC and EIT instruments will aim to accelerate the process of bringing innovations to the market and turn research into products and services. The complementarities and synergies are clearly possible, and they will be actually used. The EIC and EIT will also work together to jointly support European innovation ecosystems and lead the innovative Europe. To end up this presentation, I would just like to share with you a short, very inspiring video on the fully pledged EIC. And I hope that it will also inspire and encourage the Lithuanian innovators to apply to the EIC and EIT calls, coming calls, and existing already open calls. And I hope that let's be innovative together in the European Union. And thank you very much for your attention. If the video could go by now, would be very welcome.
A little spark, slowly growing bigger, lighting up the dark. Imagine what it could be. What do you see? A robot that feels, sustainable fiber, or software that captures the world in 3D. Wooden wind turbines, transparent solar panels, reinventing the way we use our energy. A tiny idea, so crazy it's hard to believe. An invention with the intention to change the world drastically. It's something we would love to see. So tell us what you need to reimagine, to reinvent the world. We can give you a place where unicorns are born. You can chase your dreams, helping hands, machinery, bigger plans, or just a chance to show the world something they haven't seen. So, what do you see?
Thank you. Thank you. This was really inspiring and very nice video as well. And thank you. Thank you for your presentation and all the information you gave us, Mr. Jankūnas. We have several questions coming from the audience. So I will pick a few of those, and we have time. So if, as you mentioned, if there is anything else you would like to present in more detail, you can definitely use that time because we have 10 minutes ahead of us. Okay, let's take question one by one. The one question I see is, how does the portfolios of the projects will be managed? What will be the role of EAC project managers?
The portfolios, we have currently 4 up to 5 program managers, which we take care of the portfolios in line with their specialization. So if the program manager is specialized on energy issues, he will certainly take care of the project's applications in relation to the Green Deal or any other energy issues. And the portfolios certainly will be managed in terms of the combining, looking for synergies between different applications as well. And it will provide certainly some advices to the companies as it goes. So it's pretty much similar to what the venture capitalists have. They have also expertise inside in the venture capital when they purchase, when they invest in the company. They have experts which accompany the companies in terms of the way to go during the project time. So, of course, something which actually also be considered, that the synergies between different projects which might come to the same conclusions could also be envisaged. For instance, I can give an example where one company goes a bit faster compared to another one, and the results are very much similar. It will be certainly some kind of discussions to look at how the synergies and complementarities could be used. So I think it's a win-win situation to all applicants, and overall the achievement of the output of desired output of the project itself. So certainly the role of the project managers, program managers, we call about EAC program managers, is still in the kind of exploring phase as well. It is highly discussed internally with EAC. Also looking together with the representatives of the member states of the program committee. And constantly, these questions are discussed internally, and looking, of course, naturally, the best ways to use these the expertise of the program program managers. And of course, naturally, what is important probably to flag, that program managers would provide with kind of input and advice when the juries will assess the applications. They will not take a kind of active role in making decisions for the applications, but they will come with kind of views and advices to be considered by the members and independent experts for the assessing the applications.
Okay, thank you very much for the answer. We have a few more questions coming, so I as well encourage those people to use one of the last opportunities to write your questions as well while we were speaking with a colleague. So another question is it a possibility to join EIT Inno Energy kits? This is the question.
Sorry, is any?
Is it a possibility, or probably is it possible to join EAT energy kits?
I think it is possible. It's a matter of taking initiative to do so. Honestly, we talk about certainly areas which we call when we speak about the calls, open calls, thematic calls, top down, bottom up, and so on. Something actually what I really encourage the Lithuanian applicants and in general the institutions or whatever the authorities would be to always look for opportunities and always not hesitate to contact relevant structures, be EAC, be EIT, look at the possibilities, what could be done as respect to the European innovation ecosystems. I think wherever you would come with the ideas, wherever you would like to join, it would definitely be considered, and there is nothing actually prohibited. If you come with the creative ideas as well, if you come with the proposals, it is always considered. So honestly, I would really encourage everybody, all stakeholders, and everybody who's watching this event today, and hopefully you are numerous to watch, not hesitate to enlarge your possibilities. Yesterday, something that actually struck me a bit during the discussions, where one of the speakers referred that everything actually lies on the shoulders of the innovators. It doesn't depend on the councils, doesn't depend on the programs, and so on. Yes, I agree with this, but if we would like, as an innovator, to go and to find in the network, find the peers, what we're doing, if we want to share information or get information, we have to be open to the new opportunities and to listen. Again, if we talk about innovators, sorry to maybe to go beyond the question. If we talk about innovator, which is doing something very specific, works in the genes or satellites, it's not necessarily that he understands the financial part. He doesn't necessarily know knock to the door to the bank or the grants or blending instruments. So something actually it must actually go beyond his own lab where he is actually working. So I think these programs, EIC, EIT structures, they specifically I refer to the Horizon Pillar 3, is the main purpose to help the innovator, and it's everything done to simplify their lives. Of course, it's not easy. Of course, the application process is difficult. But if you look at the presentation I made, also respect to the EAC, were the applications for the first application, first stage of applications really simplified. We've done big efforts to make the life for the applicants much easier. So I think this is a great opportunity to cross this step, to cross this kind of frontier, and to be much more open, and by being open, we also are on the learning curve. This is by failing as well, we are on the learning curve. It's not because our application is not accepted. It's not because we didn't do something sufficiently good that we should cease doing anything else. This, in contrarily, should definitely encourage any applicant to go again and again and again. Of course, naturally, improving the approach, improving the process itself, and be actually constantly on something, trying to discover, because we discover not just in the science, we not discover in the technology, but we discover also the process and how the European Union works. I mean, I don't speak about the institutional work. I speak about the programs, which actually are at the disposal of innovators.
Thank you very much. We have a few more questions coming. Yesterday, Mr. Paquet praised Lithuania for fintech sector. What could be the role of this sector, if any, in the European innovation ecosystem part of Horizon?
I think it's fintech definitely is something which actually Lithuania is definitely very known at the European level. If we talk about European innovation ecosystems, I think this is a great opportunity as well to work together. I would place the fintech also at the level of data sharing. This is something definitely should be considered. I think naturally we would welcome the representatives of Lithuanian fintech in the discussions of EAC forum, where the different areas could be discussed and looked at, as particularly we talk about the regulatory sandbox. It could actually be also looked into different areas, and I think this is which actually would happen very soon. We talk about the European Innovation Ecosystems work program, which will be adopted, I believe, in a couple of weeks, hopefully a couple of weeks, if maybe hopefully by end of April. So naturally the information on the areas and coming priorities will be known. So fintech is from Lithuania is more than welcome to take an active role into the European innovation ecosystems. And honestly, I will pay also attention to this as being also a player on the part of the European Commission side. I think that the fintech role definitely must be highly considered.
We have a very short, probably, question, or at least it seems so for me. Is it possible for large companies to apply for financing? So,
this is a very good question. In fact, yes. As mentioned just by a previous colleague who made a presentation, we talk about EAC. We talk about innovators, we talk about startups, we talk about SMEs, and we talk about mid caps. Large companies are not really the part of the EAC structure. If we talk about the large companies, these companies should actually consider the investments or possibilities or opportunities under the different schemes. I would say EU Invest, where we have different investments windows, including the infrastructure. So if we really talk about Pillar 3, I would rather say no.
Thank you very much for your answer. I will combine two questions because it's related to a national context. So probably you could share your expertise on how you feel about that, or what you see, what could be possibly done. So two questions as follows. Do ministries of Lithuania foreseen the financial support measures for the support of preparation of application of for SMEs? And second question is, how can national institutions help SMEs to be more successful in EAC?
The national institutions, naturally, when we talk about EAC, let's start maybe from the end of the question. The EAC work program is done by common agreement between the representatives of the member states and the European Commission, and of course, naturally, the European Innovation Council. Let's say that way. So wherever we actually discuss, it covers the views coming also from Lithuanian government, from representatives of the Lithuanian government or Lithuanian relevant authorities. And here actually is what would be the role of the Lithuanian ministries, relevant ministries, which actually are involved in the work of preparing the work program for the EAC or for the European innovation ecosystems, is the role to vehicle information or the needs of the relevant member state respect to the different areas. When we talk about work program, when we talk about widening issues, when we talk about gender issues, when we talk about specific, maybe looking at the area of the innovators and the Pathfinder and the transitions activities, or even the prices when we talk about iCapital for the cities which actually are innovative. It's also covered by the EAC work program. So this is information in both directions. So information comes from the ministry or several ministries, and also naturally, once discussions take place, this information comes to the ministries as well. So this, I presume, is internally discussed and assessed, and also comments we receive with respect to the work program are taken into account and discussed again with everybody. I mean, when we refer to the program committee. So now, concretely, in terms of the help for applicants, for Lithuanian applicants, as was correctly mentioned by presentation of my previous colleague, is the first point is national contact point, NCP. So here is probably the first place to go and to discuss. And national contact point is a very important individual or support to any applicant in order to provide good information. Then, of course, naturally, in order to find for any applicant before going to national contact point, the information is, of course, naturally available on the any support on the internet. This is not a secret. Everything actually is transparent. But again, in order to help any applicant, I would go to the national contact point, and this is very important. For me, as the primary person to be contacted and discussed.
Wonderful. Thank you again, Mr. Vygandas Jankūnas, for your elaborate presentation, and also for all the answers to the questions, which we had quite a lot. We couldn't take all of them, but hopefully those people who will be interested in that, they will be able to reach you out, or your colleagues later on, or will be able to point those questions to NCPs, as you also mentioned just in your last presentation. So thank you once more, and we will proceed to another speaker. So I would invite for the last presentation of today, before we will have some finalizing remarks. So I would like to ask Dr. Zita Dukovskiene, who is a head of Technology and Innovation Division in the Ministry of Education, Science and Sport. She will speak briefly about national support for the applicants. So please, Zita, floor is yours.
Today to introduce our national support system in Lithuania, and as it was mentioned, I think by every speaker who spoken before, that NCP system in Lithuania is very, very important, and it very much our success depends on the NCP good work. And when with the start of Horizon Europe program, our national NCP network is nominated, and the official nomination letter is already sent to European Commission. And this national contact point network is established and financed under the responsibility of the Ministry of Education, Science and Sport. And this is support structure in the implementation of successful framework of program, and NCP provide information to potential applicants through the whole project life cycle. And our aim is to have really highly professional support services, and NCPs will play a key role that the program becomes known and accessible for every potential applicants. And it doesn't mean it covers all sectors and all disciplines. And as you can see, the main functions of NCPs are to inform about general and specific documentations, to organize information and promotion activities, to assist partners, search by partners, and advise on administrative procedures, rules and issues, and explain the scope and the modalities of type of actions, and train to organize training sessions for trainees, and to organize courses and training seminars for the potential applicants. And our Lithuanian NCP network will operate in the two institutions, in the Research Council of Lithuania and in the Agency of Science, Innovation and Technology. In the present picture, you can see how the responsibilities of NCPs are distributed according to the pillars. And as you can see, the pillar 1 and widening measures are under the full responsibility of Research Council in pink color, and pillar 3 is under the full responsibility of Agency Science and Technologies. And in pillar 2, responsibilities are devoted to the two agencies, and they cover different clusters. And here I want to represent NCPs in the Research Council of Science of Lithuania, and you can see a team of 10 persons, and in the middle of top row is Viktoras Mongirdas, and he is NCP's coordinator in Research Council. And here I want to represent NCPs at the Agency of Research, Science and Innovation. And here you can see the team, but due to some changes in staff, Mita now haven't NCP for cluster energy, mobility and and they are, I think that in nearest future they will have the full team, and Gintas Kimtys is the coordinator of NCPs at the agency. And at the last slide, I want to present what measures are taken to boost, to accelerate Lithuanian participation in Horizon Europe. And now Ministry of Science, Education and Sport and Ministry of Economy and Innovation are negotiating on recovery and resilience facility funds for Horizon Europe Acceleration Program. And we are planning support for the European Partnerships Lino Office and CP's network under the Lithuanian EU Fund Investment Program, and support measures for consultancy services up to 20,000 euros are planned under the measure which is administered under the Agency of Science, Innovation and Technologies. So it's very short, my brief introduction to the support system for our potential clients for NCP, for Horizon Europe program. Thanks.
Thank you very much, Dr. Zita Duchkovskaya, for your presentation. We have a couple of minutes for one or two questions, so I will jump straight away to them. One question is, what is the situation with the Horizon Europe Accelerator program today? Any indications when it could be started?
Yeah, thanks for the question. And as I mentioned, now we are negotiating with the Commission, and this really big acceleration program up to 40 million is planned, and we hope that it will be approved by the Commission. And it very much depends on how quickly Lithuania negotiate with the Commission for the whole our program, and we hope that acceleration program will start at the end of the year.
Wonderful. And related question to that is when the envisaged support from Resilience Recovery Fund could reach the applicants. Probably we already know that expectation for accelerator program is the end of the year. But for other foreseen activities?
It depends, of course, it depends for how quickly we will discuss, and we will prepare all documents, and we have an agreement with the Ministry of Finance, who is the main managing authority for all funds. So we are really interested to start as quick as possible, but it depends from different other authorities. So we hope that the funds with the support could reach at the beginning of next year our main partners. But of course, it depends.
That's absolutely understandable, but still, it great to hear some expectations which institution has as well, you know. So once again, Dr. Duchkovskaya, I thank you for your brief and very useful presentation, and I will take a last few moments to close our conference. Just again to remind you, it was the second day of Horizon Europe launch days in Lithuania. The event, which was organized by Research Council, specifically Lino office, with partnership with the Agency of Science, Technology and Innovation, MITA. We had more than 600 participants who has registered through the system and was able to participate and to also pose questions. And also we had some additional people who were watching all the presentations and all the event through YouTube as well. We had a question from some person, what about the slides? So all registered users will, the information will follow up after the event with all the links to the presentations. So you will be able to, again, to look them through carefully and see what is interesting for you. I would also want to finish with some encouragement thought that actually, in my opinion, and from all the speakers who were in the first day and the second day, I think the message is the same, that there is actually now huge opportunities for very different actors to apply in Horizon Europe program. So I think this is a really good opportunity to use different existing programs and different existing instrument and not only research and technology organizations or science organizations, businesses, but as well as NGOs, public sector organization and other institutions can find themselves in this current European program, European financing period. So I really encourage you to do that. The European horizon is really horizontal this time, and do not forget to cooperate. We are stronger when we are together. So this is the one of the messages I also take from many of the presenters, that we can do more when we do it together. And before the absolute finishing of the event, I just want to take a time and remind you about European Research and Innovation Days, which will happen on 23rd and 24th of June. You can see the picture of that. It will happen digitally, so the participation is really not costly, except of course your time. But really, if you have questions or if you have plans working on that, this is the one of the events you definitely want to really consider to attend. So you already can register there. There is the link in the Slido as well, and also you can Google that easily without any problems. Just a reminder, now you will have a break, which will probably you will use for lunch. So bon appetit. And on 2 p.m. Vilnius time, you will have an opportunity to meet your NCPs and speak directly to them. So use that opportunity. Use that opportunity as well. And before absolutely outroing and saying goodbye, I also kindly ask you to fill in the survey or the poll, how it's called, probably in the Slido in the system. Which you have. Your feedback is really relevant for us for future events or future planning. So please give us a few more moments of your precious time and provide us feedback. And on this positive note, I again say thank you for all the organizers. Thank you for technical facilitators for actually smoothly covering all the event. This is really nice and pleasurable performance. And have a good day. Goodbye.
Every great project starts with an idea. We will transform these ideas into new solutions to recover from the global pandemic and ensure a green, digital, healthy, and fair future for everyone.